Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. This is usually the part of the show where we have a nice little silly introduction, but if you may be aware, you may not be, it's not been the happiest of news weeks this week for wrestling. And we know that people watch this for a bit of silliness and daft buggery. We will be getting onto that soon, but we'll be remiss if we didn't start off with the bad stuff. So, to take us away with the bad news, this is Maffew, joined as always by the fabulous Jack the Jobber.
Hello.
And Ross.
Guten Tag.
So, let's get the veg out the way so we can eat the meat. Day one for WWE this week. The XFL bankruptcy details emerged, insisting WWE had nothing to do with the league when it was first announced before disclosing in 2019 that things changed. And in fact, WWE owned 11.75% and Vince personally owned the remaining 88.25%. Apparently, WWE was given ownership interest to appease WWE stockholders because WWE turned down $50 million from the AAF, and Vince ended up selling stock to himself at 2% of the market value plus an IOU. And I have no idea where that's going, but I'm completely hooked on reading it up before it becomes a Netflix documentary. And to clarify the later bit of news we're coming to, WWE owned a stake in XFL parent Alpha Entertainment, which WWE received at no cost. So, no, they don't owe any money. Alpha doesn't owe any money to WWE. Right. And there's also no XFL cost to WWE. Day two, WWE announced that they were going to ignore Governor Ron DeSantis' stay-at-home order last week. So surprised to see on this day, Orange County Mayor Deming's announcement, quote, originally, WWE were not deemed an essential business. With some conversation with the governor's office regarding the governor's order, they were deemed an essential business. He also mentions how WWE is like a family and they take care of each other.
Oh, God.
Unrelated news, Linda McMahon's America First Action committed to spend $11.5 million in Florida, although they do state that those issues are completely separate. Also gets revealed, if it does get revealed that Vince paid them in XFL stock, it'll be a hell of a storyline. Day three, Donald Trump called Vince McMahon the great Vince McMahon. And I think we now need the WWE intro back, as essential services are now nurses, firemen, WWE. And then Vice airs the Jimmy Snuka Nancy Argentino documentary, which heavily implies that Vince McMahon covered it up so they didn't lose money on the Madison Square Garden match that they had.
That episode, by the way, was really well done, but so disturbing as well.
I mean, it would be hard to do that any other way, really. I mean, at least it put paid to the myth that Snuka was called out by the police, and the allegation was he went, from the volcanoes to the jungle, or whatever. He did his gimmick basically to the police until Vince showed up. But
that policeman on the documentary as well.
The guy who can't look at the camera.
Yeah.
But that all pales in comparison. That is the prelude to day 4, aka yesterday. And I actually saw how nice it was outside. So I spent an hour and a half watching Netflix stuff and chilling out and having a nice time in the lovely sun. And then coming in and seeing the little statement that said, despite the announcement of being there to kickstart the economy and all this, that they would be having to cut some wrestlers. And then they started with no warning whatsoever. An hour later, we got a long list. So I think I'll say something and then we'll cut to Jack and Ross for their thoughts and get through this as quickly as non-sadly as possible. Drake Maverick.
Oh, man.
That video.
That video. He's like the saddest one for me. He's so talented. He's so good. And a lot of people have been using him as the example of, like, if you can't make money off Drake Maverick and have him make more money for you than what you're paying him, then you're doing something wrong, because he's so entertaining. But yeah, devastated for him.
Yeah, you look at the lengths he went to with the 24/7 title, and he pissed his pants at Survivor Series when he was the manager of the AOP. Everything he did, he wasn't given much, but he made the most of every single opportunity he got. He's fantastic. He'll get a job somewhere else, no problem. There's a lot of these people will.
Absolutely, Ross. And he is still announced for the Cruiserweight title that's currently vacant because Devlin is obviously stuck in Ireland, which is not America. So he still has 3 televised matches. I think he said 3. I don't know. Well, let's speculate how many matches he has left, that he will be still wrestling for WWE, knowing he's getting the sack. It's a very weird situation to be in. And Kurt Hawkins.
Just seems like a nice man.
Yeah, been there. Wait, I know he left for a while, but he was there for a long time, wasn't he? With a little gap in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he seemed to be one of these... Oh, sorry, go on.
I liked his not his undefeated streak, you know what I mean? His losing streak gimmick. And then
His defeated streak.
His defeated streak, yeah. And then the payoff at WrestleMania was fun. And he just seems like one of those guys who is always reliable. Like, if you want a legend to come out and batter him, they can do that. He can have a safe match with anyone. So that's a shame as well.
And sorry to interrupt this bad news list with an even worse news announcement. As we're doing the recording of this is a Thursday afternoon. We've just been told the Fink has passed away at the age of 69. Jesus, talk about when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. The greatest ring announcer ever?
Oh, by a country mile.
You reckon? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, by a country
He's
mile.
up there. I mean, there's so many memories of that. Was it someone said, you only know if a wrestling name is a good wrestling name if you can imagine the Fink saying at the main event at WrestleMania, the winner, and new.
Yeah.
Chili McFreeze was there.
Speaking of names, though, he's the guy who stopped Vince calling WrestleMania the Colossal Tussle, wasn't he? He was the guy who said, you should call it WrestleMania. And it changed.
Yeah, because he probably went, I can't say that, make it look good. The Colossal Tussle.
Oh,
So
that's very sad as well.
That sucks. And he was a piece of WWE TV for decades.
Yeah, he's one of those people like JR and Mean Gene, where their voice is just associated with wrestling.
Outthink the Fink, appearances in Edge and Christian show. And
That return he did with Punk, was that the last time he was on
oh,
interview?
God, yeah. It showed how tone deaf the commentary team wasn't he? When the
yeah.
crowd's just like, yeah, and he's so overwhelmed. And they're like, aha, look at that old man. You're like,
Yeah.
Heel Michael Cole. What a dick.
Nah, he wasn't a heel, he was just a dick. Okay, so sorry to interrupt that heartbreaking news story there. The beloved Howard Finkel. To go back to more miserable news. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, both released. And there seemed to be a recurring theme amongst this list of people who had asked for or was speculated to be asking for their release once AEW started picking up steam. So what do you think about this one, Jack?
Well, earlier on in our group chat, like our work chat, Pacini was saying that they were the most shocking. I think Ross said it as well. They were the most surprising release. At first, I said Rusev, which we'll get onto in a bit. But yeah, I have to agree. Probably Anderson and Gallows are pretty surprising. You have to imagine they'd be okay, though.
Yeah, they've got. I saw they set up the Patreon for Talking Shop once again, so that's made a comeback. But I think there was the report last summer that they both signed bumper 5-year deals, each of them, and then they've gone less than a year later. That's where the big shock comes from me. Yeah, it's just weird because they're so close to AJ Styles as well. You got to wonder if that's going to have a knock-on effect for him, not having his pals next to him anymore. I don't know. That was the biggest shock for me of all of them.
They seemed like, until very recently when they were in this big program with Undertaker, they seemed like the sort of guys that WWE were just stockpiling to keep away from New Japan and AEW. But yeah.
Yeah, it has to be said, even though they had a huge fan base and lots of love for them for their work they've done elsewhere, wasn't a lot to go on with their WWE run. When they were hanging out with AJ Styles, they were great, even with that feud with Roman Reigns way back when. But honestly, yeah, they hired just to make sure no one else could hire them. And speaking of which, EC3. I had absolutely no idea why they even bothered, apart from just to mess with Impact with this guy. Go on, what's up with you?
He's going to be a Dark Side of the Ring episode in the future. He's done something to someone high up in WWE to get that treatment, not once but twice. Back in the day, and then once again on this most current run, he's done something horrible to somebody high up in WWE, surely.
I'm just amazed because EC3's gimmick basically was WWE star who happens to be an Impact. He just is Vince's idea of a main eventer, and they've done nothing with him. Almost to spite him basically.
Yeah, although it does give us the lovely bit of Dixie Carter is now officially canon in the WWE kayfabe for people who care about that type of thing.
That's true.
So what's EC3's name, WWE? His surname is 3, all right. Leo Rush. Half surprising, half not surprising. Considering, obviously he had a bit of a rough start to begin with, but he was only NXT Cruiserweight Champion, December?
It was the first episode that went live on Wednesday, wasn't it? He won it off Gulak, was it?
I think so.
I think it was, yeah. So that wasn't very long ago at all. Yeah.
Let's say yes.
Yeah, why not?
There's all these rumours of like backstage heat on him and stuff, but he can wrestle his arse off. He's fantastic.
Talk his arse off as well.
Mm-hmm.
That Bobby Lashley partnership should have gone a lot longer than it did. The pose and whatnot.
Leo Rush should have been paid better than he was. Bless him. Yeah, I mean, it was a weird thing when Leo Rush actually spoke to a journalist about being in WWE, and it was like, you can't do that. He's like, why? It's not North Korea. But anyway, Eric Young.
They never really did anything with Eric Young, did they?
Yeah.
Not after Sanity. You know, as soon as Sanity dissolved, as soon as Sanity split up, Jesus.
Yeah.
Then it really was just, it's that guy. He got beat up in backstage bits when was it Seth Rollins going hunting or Kevin Owens hunting for Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
something
like
that.
Too,
yeah.
I think he was doing producing recently, but yeah, nothing much to report from Eric Young, was there?
Heath Slater.
Oh, this was heartbreaking, this one.
I didn't even
16?
realise. Yeah, 16 years.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I didn't realise that until someone pointed out, wow, what a great time to release somebody. A gimmick who's literally, he's only wrestling to feed his kids.
Why? How's he been there 16 years?
OVW, he was the champion, wasn't he? I think they're counting that in the run as well. Then he was Nexus.
Right.
That's hard to think. That was 11 years ago now, wasn't it?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I blame you for that, Ross. It was only 2 years ago until you said that. Aiden English, who had been commentating on 205 Live and doing a hell of a job ever since we realised, that Rusev Day thing that you've done a marvellous job of is it's not doing anything for us.
I liked your tweet about Aiden English. That was very true. I think you basically just said what you've said there, essentially, that he was doing a great job. Very underappreciated.
He should have been a manager for... I know if you don't want to have him wrestle, he should have at least been a manager for someone on the main roster. Because during that Rusev Day one night in Milwaukee storyline, it's fantastic.
Milwaukee.
One night in Milwaukee.
I think the only thing I really know about Milwaukee is that Jeffrey Dahmer was from there. So there's a bit of info for everyone.
Oh. I'm glad, though, that we were able to have some silliness here, at least slightly elevated, because, anyway. Kurt Angle, who I only realised was still around because you interviewed him. Jack Storm. Oh, is it Angle?
On the bus. Yeah, it's Kurt. He's just coming around.
Oh, okay.
No, it must be for Owen. But no, he was producer backstage, wasn't he? And then I did interview him on the top of a freezing cold bus in London. And midway through the interview, the bus starts doing a 3-point turn. But he seemed like a nice man. I mean, he's been through a lot, hasn't he? Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah, this was a bit of a weird one because he was lumped in with all of the active wrestlers on the released, like the official thing on WWE.com, whereas all the producers, which he is one, obviously, they were all like sort of hush-hush and reported by Sean Ross Sapp and PW Insider and stuff like that, so that was a bit weird. But yeah, he's done it all, hasn't he? I don't know what you say. He'll be all right. He'll do something. He's got graps. That's that hand thing he does.
What hand thing?
On Instagram, he just promotes it all the time. These things you put around your fingers to do the grapples better. So
okay.
He'll land on his feet. That Kurt Angle, he's quite good.
Or if not, he'll land on his neck and get up anyway. Sarah Logan, aka the Sarah Logan, who just wrestled on Raw this week.
Yeah, she never got a fair chance. I'm not familiar really with her indie stuff as Crazy Mary Dobson, but apparently she was quite a captivating character there.
God, I forgot she was Crazy Mary. Jesus.
Crazy Mary.
One of those names you heard a lot about before she signed, didn't you? Crazy Mary Dobson.
I always remember hearing about her and Cheerleader Melissa and just being like, who are these two? Yeah. But yeah.
one bright bit of this is, of course, being reminded that Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis. Maria Kanellis, of course, was still on maternity leave. She has given birth. She's just recovering, as you do. So some people have gone, God, it's horrible for these people who are pregnant. Let us not forget the amazement that these two have brought to the table by the fact that they signed a WWE, knowing she was pregnant, did that. Oh, she's pregnant, now I need time off. Oh, I'm going to use the that free rehab thing you've got going to get myself clean. Oh, okay, cool. And they were all paid $500K a year for that. So, you know what? Hey, 8 p.m. every day, I'm going to go outside and clap for the Kanellises. Your thoughts, Jack?
I feel bad for them because it's one of those cruel WWE storylines that's just designed to humiliate people or make them feel uncomfortable. But they went for it, and they sort of did it to the best of their abilities, didn't they? Like, who's the famous example of doing that? Just going out and
Mark Henry?
Dusty Rhodes.
Oh.
Because they made him be like dressing polka dots and stuff, and he went out and just did it and got himself over. I'm not sure if theirs was quite as effective, but they went for it. Fair play.
Crying all the way to the bank. Ross?
Mm-hmm. What they were given was crap, to be honest with you. He obviously proved he's a lot more than what they thought he was in Ring of Honor and Impact and places like that. So I think he's one of those ones that'll be better off. It's hard. It's a weird thing to say, but he'd be better off elsewhere because obviously they saw nothing for him there creatively. Apart from humiliation.
Eric Rowan, whose 2020 consisted of hyping up a basket, nurturing that basket, loving that basket, scaring Mojo Rawley with a basket, opening the basket, Toy Spider dead, eliminated the Royal Rumble, eliminated from the company.
It was a cage. Come on now. Okay, fine.
A cage basket.
I like Eric Rowan. He seems like a lovely man. However, that storyline really annoyed me because he revealed what it was, and then when the match that he had when Drew squashed it, they were acting like they had no idea what was inside of it again. And it was so annoying. I don't get it. That's what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I stopped caring when he pulled it out and then seemed to be pretending this clearly mechanical, big, stupid toy spider was a real spider. And you see, like, a couple of weeks before, Mojo Rawley jumping out of his skin at the sight of this toy spider. I feel, you got to feel sorry for them when they're given bollocks like that and then they let go of a short while later. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's weird, isn't it? Because he was in a main event feud for, like, the whole of last summer. And that one was ballsed up as well with the guy who was there for that 1 week and then, hey, God. I feel sorry for him.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Was that
fake
Bischoff?
Eric Rowan. Yeah.
Was that Bischoff's doing?
I've got no idea.
Yeah, have they kept the fake Rowan?
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry to see everyone's favourite Green Day song, Basket Cage, there. No Way Jose, who also travelled to Raw, posted a picture of himself travelling in an empty train carriage, I believe, to get to there. First time he's been on TV in some time, loses in, a minute and a half, and then he's let go. It's literally the Hard Times promo by Dusty Rhodes. Jack, what do you think?
Another one who was just never really given a chance to show what he could do because he never wrestled in a match that was longer than like 2 or 3 minutes at most. So I don't know what to think, really. It's just sad, isn't it?
Yeah, speaking about Raw this week, it's like this essential business that WWE is now, apparently. They fly these people in or get them to the performance center in the midst of this pandemic, have them risk their health to wrestle a match for a minute or so, send them home, and then fire them. These essential people are all of a sudden not essential. It's so... I don't even know what the word is.
It's kind of brazen.
Scandalous, aye.
Yeah.
But again, No Way Jose, it was just... It's a classic Vince McMahon gimmick, isn't it? Big lad who dances. Oh, so fun. But again, it's never going to get off the floor, is it? How many times have we seen it over the past 30, 40 years, if not longer?
I agree. Hell of a theme song, though.
Yeah.
Primo and Epico
The Shining Stars.
The Shining Stars, yes, who have been around for quite some time. And I think have just been paid to wrestle in Puerto Rico. And I think the last time we heard about them was a few months ago when it said that they'd failed a wellness policy test. And the guy went, "No, I haven't, you lying get. You said you needed to test me. I said, sure, I'll get one of the Puerto Rico ones to do it." And they went, no, you have to fly out to America to do it. And he went, "I'm not doing that. Why don't I just do it
on
here?"
your own
then,
dime, aye.
Yeah, then a week later he said you'd failed it. I went, "No, you haven't."
Wasn't there something not too long ago? Who was it? Did an interview and said, "No, they're not." There was something that had or hadn't happened that had been reported. Some legend. I can't remember who it was.
I was going to say Hornswoggle had that, where it wasn't that he failed, it's just that he couldn't go. So he attempted to urinate, nothing happened, and they said that counts as a fail. And he went, "Well, can't you put a little asterisk saying he didn't test for anything?"
Yeah,
They
I'm
went,
sure there was rumours that one of them or both of them got released not too long ago, and then somebody said, "Oh, they already were gone," or something like that. I can't remember who it was. Someone in the comments, let me know if you don't know. Jack?
I don't know.
Just shows how valuable they were at this time, by the way.
I'm enjoying the mention of. Actually, first of all, I think their legacy for me will be the WLC match. Loved that. That was brilliant, and it was nice to hear a mention from friend of the channel, Hornswoggle. Well, friend of Maffew, Hornswoggle. Love that. That's all my thoughts on the Shining Stars.
No,
Seem like
there we
nice
go. We'll
lads.
have to step it up here. We'll be here for 3 hours. Rusev, who would like to remind everybody who didn't already know, Rusev gave $20,000 of his own money to production, who weren't getting paid at that point because they weren't doing anything. Yeah, the last quote, "In Bulgaria, we have an expression. It's not a lot, but it's from the heart." Sorry for Jack, then go to the main event of Ross, because I know he's taking this the worst out of all of us.
All I'll say is just like Rusev's such a blown opportunity, and he's one of those people who just should have been a main eventer, and like a persistent one as well, or a what am I trying to say? Like a consistent one. Because he's just absolutely brilliant and it's hilarious, and I don't know, it's just quite sad. I'll let Ross, because I'm sure Ross has a lot to say.
I'm not going to go too far. Just mention that, like, I think it was 2 years ago this month, he was the top merch seller in all of WWE. And for some reason, they then turned him heel. Then split up Aiden English and did all that. They had this wonderful thing that organically grew, which is always the best stuff. Look at Daniel Bryan and stuff like that, when something organically takes off and then they get on board with it. And then for some reason, they never did with Rusev. And it makes no sense. Heel or babyface, fantastic. Look at his track record over the past 6 years or whatever it is. He'll be fine wherever he goes. I hope he goes to New Japan, heavyweight division there, AEW, something funny in there. Why not? Everything. He's just so talented and a lovely guy. Lovely dogs. I love the man.
He's great.
He's just so naturally funny, and they never let him do that either. Because he had fleeting moments where he was like, "Oh, I'm elated," and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, there's promise there, just let him do it." And they never did, and it baffles you. It makes you quite angry, or it makes me angry.
I liked when he called himself Handsome Rusev for the first time. That was really funny.
I mean, the first time Rusev, it may be the first time I noticed when he was genuinely funny, he took the TV monitor during a brawl and he tweeted, "I took the TV, now I am TV champion."
So
I was like, he's got a sense of humour. He's a good lad.
I can't reveal who told me this on video, but I learned that I brought this up to someone in WWE, and they said that that he took that home, right? It's in his house now. He's still got the monitor.
I hope he tweets out a picture soon of him just watching like New Japan or something on that monitor if he can somehow hook it up to a TV.
So Rusev, somebody who got himself over regardless of what WWE did with him and kept it going and still loved online. Unrelated,
Lana's
also released.
But sorry, I know who you're going to say.
Ruined my segue.
I know. I'm sorry. It's Zack Ryder.
Sorry,
I know.
go on, Jack.
But Lana's not being released though. It's weird.
No.
Yeah. By the way, while we're doing all this is what's currently going. It's Thursday afternoon. More are promised, but they wanted to at least wait until NXT was finished yesterday.
Someone mentioned that it was just Raw people who got released last night, as we're sat here now. So presumably after SmackDown, maybe Saturday night, there'll be another big chunk.
Yeah.
But there's been nothing about NXT so far, has there?
There's been a few.
couple.
There's been Diana Perazzo. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. Alexander Jaksic, aka Lonely God, aka a guy who got signed in late 2019 who didn't make it on the TV. MJ Jenkins, who only made one TV appearance in a Battle Royal. And Josiah Williams, who was known for doing the
Josiah
Wrestling
Williams.
Flow.
Wrestling Flow, yeah.
And that's to start off with, apparently.
Also
Oni Lorcan was on Raw, so...
Also, the woman who wrote the Awesome Mandy story. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry, not to cut ahead. But yeah, Andrea Listenberger, the writer who has been there since December last year, who gave us the Mandy Rose Otis storyline.
Why fire her? It's the best storyline in years, maybe even. But yeah.
And yeah, also then Zack Ryder, who, for people who are a bit younger than the rest of us, it can't be overstated how well Zack Ryder got himself over when the company literally had no intention of pushing him. To the point where, I believe Ryan Satin uploaded it yesterday, The Rock, back for 2011, I believe, it's Survivor Series, trying to talk, there's a pause, the crowd just go, "We want Ryder." It's beautiful to see. And it should be said, for YouTube-based content for wrestlers to get themselves over when they weren't in the ring, that was started by him.
Yeah.
So he is inadvertently responsible for the creation of AEW as we know it. So
being the Elite wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Zack Ryder. And you could even argue that this podcast wouldn't exist without Zack Ryder, or at least wouldn't exist. It might have taken a while for people to start doing more wrestling content online, I suppose. I don't know. You look a bit dubious there, Maffew.
No, I'll give him credit for other people's work. He's not taking our credit. Ross?
Yeah, another one. I don't know why they do it just to... They obviously don't do it to spite themselves, but it seems that way, doesn't it? When you've got a guy who's organically, once again, that popular, and then you go and have him murdered by Kane in a wheelchair and stuff like that, and just made look like another fool by Eve Torres at WrestleMania. And then the US title, me and Jack were there inside the stadium. The noise was unbelievable.
That was the IC title.
IC title, sorry. And you never saw it coming, and it was just an amazing moment. And less than a day later, it's all gone, and he's back to where he was, just on main event. And you don't get it sometimes.
No.
He lost it the next night to The Miz. We were there again. Yeah.
And the longest of WWE producers / trainers / backstage people who have been furlonged, not fired. Fit Finlay, who's been around since 2001. Mike Rotunda, who appeared on WWE Bump, that was uploaded that day. It's literally hours before this all got announced. And as people point out, he was released on tax day for Americans. Or would have been if things had been normal. Hurricane Helms. Right. Hurricane Helms, Lance Storm, who just joined 2 months ago after talking to Jericho about how he'd sold all of his equipment before setting up his school and everything to join WWE. Pat Buck, who couldn't have been that long, because I remember that name coming up recently. Billy Kidman, who's been doing that job since 2007. Sean Daivari, who's only been doing it for short length as well. Scott Armstrong since 2006. Sarah Stock since 2015, ever since she left Impact Wrestling. And Mike Chioda, who's been with the company since 1989, who was currently out with injury.
This is devastating, this.
Yeah. That one really confused me, not only because he's been there for longer than I've been alive, but because also none of the other refs got furloughed or let go. So what's that about? Is it because he was on a high wage? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts there, Ross?
No, 1989 he started. He was on the first Raw. It always used to make me laugh so much the way he would count to 10. Nobody counted to 10 like Mike Chioda did. He was fantastic at counting to 10. He obviously, I guess there's two senior referees, Mike Chioda, then Charles maybe. Is that the hierarchy? I've got no idea. It was really baffling. Really baffling. But I don't know what you reckon about. Do you reckon some of them will get rehired once this is sort of all blown over?
That's what they're saying, suggest with it being a furlong. It's not a goodbye, it's a see you later.
Mike was in the released ones though. Chioda.
Oh, was he? I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he was on that WWE.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
You would assume so. That's why it's a full-on not being fired. But right now, I'm not going to pretend to know what they're going to be doing because it's crazy. It's like the last days of the Soviet Union. No one knows what's happening. Also, Jerry Soto, one of the ring announcers for NXT. And probably more to come. Like I said, still early days. So I've gone through some typings up and tweets after seeing people talk about after Wrestling Observer Live's dropped. Read the Wrestle Economics site by Brandon Thurston and also Jake Barnett on Twitter, being very informative. Basically, this all seems to be that WWE insists on keeping the stock price up. And there seems to be some misconception that WWE has $50 million in cash on hand because they announced a few weeks ago, like, look how good we're doing. They had $90 million in liquid cash at the end of 2019 in their balance sheet. This means the rest of the liquidity could come from fully leveraging existing revolving credit lines. Meltzer seems to think the cuts are related to both WWE's fear of AEW signing up everybody being lessened, and as well as the company trying to make the books look better, and that is fair enough. Right now, no one's hiring, but when AEW do come to be doing that, and no one knows when that is, they can't possibly take everybody here. Dave says all the people were let go by WWE today weren't going to be part of the era of TV, diddler virus era. He says it's not that WWE did what they did today that bothers him, it's the timing of it. Especially in Florida, where one of the WWE staffers tested positive last week. And Meltzer seems to think if they didn't run a house show for the rest of the year, if they don't run Saudi Arabia for the rest of the year, if they don't make any merch / licensing money for the rest of the year, which they will, they're still on target for about $1 billion worth of revenue. So,
Jesus.
It seems to be, right, a bunch of other stuff. That's just me reading what other people have said. It's going to be a very boring podcast, so I'll move on. But it seems to be, it's not that they had all this money and went, well, we just don't want anyone to see it. They do have shareholders to appease, and they are naturally worried about how this is going to affect the Fox deal, which is still shaky. Right now, nothing's been said if they are going to want to reschedule or reevaluate the contract, but they can't be looking at these things and going, yeah, this isn't what we wanted when you promised us Lesnar and Rousey last year. And also the fact that they are going to be losing money that they were going to get for WrestleMania. They're losing a lot of money on their live events and also merch picked up at live events, which is where they get a lot of money from. So lots of numbers and stuff there. Jack and Ross, any thoughts? Go you first, Jack.
It's still. I mean, I think it was Meltzer as well who compared it to, like, he said this isn't like a restaurant that has no money in reserve, having to let people go. This is a giant company. And it just seems very callous, especially at this time when nobody else is hiring. I mean, I'm not surprised that it caused such a furore online. But yeah. Ross?
Yeah, it's just the sort of feeling that they didn't have to do it, but they did it anyway. That's the sort of thing that stinks. And then obviously, as I said before, they've let people go who risk their health for a minute on television, and then a few days later they're gone. It stinks. It's not. Yeah, I don't know what you say about that. It's just good. Yeah.
Well, I think we've got all the negative stuff out of the way, so don't worry, people, if you're thinking this is a miserable podcast. We will be talking about how Seth Rollins is telling the locker room, don't worry, everything's all right. He's on Periscope. It's okay. Just know why we're being so harsh in WWE.
To be fair, people are taking that out of context a bit.
That's the best thing about wrestling.
I know, it was because I've had a go at Rollins more than most probably on the YouTube, but that was a 10-minute video, and people are taking that one sentence. But his general thing was about like sticking together and being like positive about each other and stuff like that. But yeah, he does. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt a bit sorry for him this morning when I saw all the headlines. Yeah. I guess I was the only one.
Yeah. No, Jack, don't wait for me to rush into his defense. You go first, pal.
I was gonna say, just like it is a bit. I feel like he should have chosen his words more carefully, but I don't think it was as malicious as people are suggesting.
He still shouldn't have said it though, probably.
Yeah. He shouldn't.
Classic vintage Rollins.
Yeah. At least he's consistent, lads. You know what's consistent? The Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Let's move on to the next bit.
We need to do one more bit of news. I'm sorry, the revival.
We're back here at the news section at the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Still consistent. Yeah, almost forgotten about with all the other stuff going on in the world. The revival quietly left last week.
It's been since the last podcast, hasn't it?
I think we forgot to mention it last time, to be honest with you. So let's pretend it was last week, so we don't look lazy. Yeah, the Revival quietly left after one out of the contract for months. And probably thought, well, that was a good call to be doing it then. A shame. But at the same time, you can't be with WWE forever, and they have got their sights set on other places with that whole expression that we can't say on this podcast. And that certain tag team that they can wrestle. But what do you think, Ross?
Yeah, it was interesting how it seemed to be mutually agreed. They wanted it, and then WWE, I guess they couldn't have known what was coming this week by going like, yeah, you go now, rather than waiting to lump them in with the rest of the people this week. I don't know how that works. But yeah, good for it's another one where they're a team who are suited better away from there. Obviously, they don't lend themselves to the sort of the razzmatazz of Raw and SmackDown, do they? The style that they do, and they're for proper wrestling folk, aren't they? And hopefully they get to do that somewhere else. Jack the Jobber.
I think that if they do wrestle the Bucks, it could be like one of the best tag matches ever. But obviously, when matches are really hyped, that makes it hard to live up to. But if any two tag teams can, it's the Revival and the Bucks. So I'll be shocked if we don't get that match at some point in the near future. But yeah, that's my Revival thoughts.
It would be great after all this time, they finally look up and they've got no chemistry together whatsoever. And you know where they won't be wrestling? Double or Nothing, which has been rescheduled from May 23rd to May 29th next year.
So there is still going to be, as far as I understand, there is still going to be a Double or Nothing, but it's going to be like a no fans show. And then the Vegas Double or Nothing, has been rescheduled until next year. So, yeah.
That's right, Jack, because all wrestling is terrible right now.
Well,
that's right, AEW. I'm forgetting about you either. You can suck as well. You know what doesn't suck? The next segment. Wait, is that it? Is that it? Any other news? Yeah. The next segment.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame.
And now it's time for everyone's favourite segment, the Hall of Fame. And in condescending order from last week, I forgot about... Sorry.
I'm absolutely gutted, by the way, with this week's results.
Sorry. Hush, Ross. I'm trying to laugh.
What did Pete Dunne say? I'm trying to think what he said. I can't remember.
Not this way, or not the way.
Not the way. Not the way. Not the way.
Not the way, Maffew.
Stop laughing. Not the way.
Not the way.
Stop laughing.
Ashton Smith with 3%. God, I hope you don't get released by the time this gets uploaded.
Oh God, yeah. Oh.
Let's do it next week. Anyway, don't do it this week. Mad Kurt with 23%, which I guess that settles that debate. Should be Mad Kurt and then in brackets Snowboy, his tag team partner. Oh, but with a massive... Oh, okay, I was surprised by this because I actually thought it was really crap pick compared to the other two we had. Firefly Funhouse, 74%. Yay!
Well done.
Oh, it's me going first then, isn't it? So, after getting more messages from people who have been very polite, very nice during this time, there's definitely been shown the best and worst of people during the diddler virus times. I'm going to nominate bus drivers. The simple task...
I thought you said Buster Rhymes.
I mean, he's great and everything. Give me some more. But... Yes, bus driver. My very serious point about bus drivers is completely ruined because is Buster Rhymes as a bus driver. Drive to town, give me some more. Go to the shops, give me some more. So 2 weeks ago, I talked about the unthanked warriors during this time, the retail workers now they're having to do through stuff. Bus drivers during this period. There's a lot of people driving buses around this area who have... We've got brand new buses in Benwell, by the way. We don't have the metro, we just have buses. Yeah, and every time I walk along to my once-a-day stretch, I look, and 9 times out of 10, there's a bus driver with one guy on the very back. And every time the bus driver's to pull in and wait for a few seconds to get synced in because he's supposed to be picking up people and just looks like, what am I doing? If I drove this into a pond, would anyone notice? But they're still carrying on. And especially with the ones in London... getting very sick very quickly because, hey, it turns out in a very congested area, having to deal with lots of people, the complete opposite to all the people in charge would have you not be doing. They're doing a lot of stuff, they put a lot on the line and risking a lot of stuff for the people that need the buses to do the work that they need to survive. And I don't see them getting anything but crap from people. Because, let's face it, Jack and Ross, there's only two types of people in this world. There's people who thank the bus driver when they get off, and wankers. So that's why I nominate the good bus drivers.
As Northerners, we're all people who thank the driver, right?
Yeah.
Do you even need to ask?
Okay.
Is it the law? Jack.
Oh, so bus drivers.
That's it, yeah.
Not
Scene.
bus,
there you go.
Not Buster Rhymes.
Not Buster Rhymes.
I honestly couldn't think of one this week, so I'm just going to talk about, you know, when you can't get to sleep at night and then you get reminded of an embarrassing thing from like 6 years ago. So can I just go down as like Jack's story or something? I needed something to bring to the Hall of Fame segment. I just couldn't for the life of me think of anything. So I'm just going to tell you.
Can't wait for this.
Look, everyone's going to enjoy. It's going to be underwhelming now, I can tell. So, here we go. I got reminded of this last night, and I hadn't thought about it for about 6 years. So, at uni, in the summer, just before the start of my final year, I think, I was because I live quite locally to the uni I went to. They were like, "Come back and do some repping." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do a bit of repping." So I was repping for the international students who were coming along earlier than everyone else. So I was showing people around the campus and stuff, showing them where all the departments were. And then on the nighttime, all the reps went on a big night out and we all got hammered. Now before this, because I was a last minute addition to the repping team, I didn't have a room to stay in. And my mate was like, "Don't worry, just stay in my room. It's a bit messy, there's boxes everywhere, but I'll just stay at my girlfriend's tonight." I was like, "Oh, sound, I'll stay in his room." So I get back really drunk, get in the room, go to sleep and stuff. Wake up. All right.
Sorry.
I'm nearly done. I'm nearly done the story. If you're following along, so I get in the room, wake up, and realise, there's no boxes around. He wasn't telling the truth about that. The room's like spotless. Turn the light on. The room's pink. I'm like, this isn't his room. This is a girl's room. And then as I opened the door and tried to quietly leave and made the bed and everything, she was there in the corridor outside. She was only from concert, so she'd stayed home that night instead of staying in her room. And she was the room next door to the one that I was meant to stay in. So I just slept in this lass's bed on my own for a night. And I knew her, but when I say I knew her, we were in the same year and we probably had each other on Facebook. But I didn't really know her. And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And she said, "It's fine," like a bit too quickly. She was like, "It's fine." And I was like, "Oh." And that's my Hall of Fame nomination because I got reminded of it last night when I couldn't sleep. Thanks, everyone. Cheers for that. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I love Jack's stories. It's like watching one person play tennis with himself. Ross, no pressure, but you have to follow that.
Shut up.
I'm going for a nice one this week. Have you seen Captain Tom Moore in the news?
I have, yes.
Fantastic story. For those who don't know, he's a 99-year-old war veteran, Captain Tom Moore, who wanted to set out to raise £1,000 for the NHS by doing laps of his garden. I think he was going to do 100-odd laps or something by Thursday morning, and he did it. Or was it yesterday morning? Can't remember. I'm having a game of tennis with myself now. But he did it, and in the process of trying to raise £1,000 for the NHS, he's raised over 12 million. I think that's an amazing story. 99-year-old fella walking around his gardens, raised 12 million for the NHS. He's got a Just Giving page, I do believe. So search that down. I donated. Fantastic story. So Captain Tom Moore is my nomination for the Hall of Fame.
So we've got two nice ones, two nice nominations, and then my awful, self-indulgent, crappy story. Right.
Yeah, so it's the murderer's row of votes. So, if you've been paying attention, if you're still awake, You can, of course, go to patreon.com/Cultaholic to vote for any of these fantastic entries to the Hall of Fame. Do you want to nominate bus drivers? Yeah, you heard me. Bus drivers. Jack's amazing, incredible story. Or Captain Tom Moore.
Captain Tom.
Captain Tom Moore. 99 years old and a bitch ain't one of them. Any of those fabulous picks, go to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Place your votes. It's your fault when I win. Thank you very much.
This week in the wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
This week in wrestling. On SmackDown, oh joy, Dolph and Sonya rant about being framed. They say the footage was doctored. Tucker comes out and shows photos of Mandy and Otis together. Now he wants to batter Ziggler, but he loses instead.
Great stuff from Tucker. I'm gonna get you, and he lost to a super kick.
Oh, I hope Otis doesn't eat all of the bananas though.
What?
Neither the potassium.
Yeah, I did a bit of research, and there was someone from, I think it was Cambridge University, who said you need to eat 400 bananas in one sitting to overload on potassium. So that's one of the big worries when you eat too many bananas, isn't it? You have 2 bananas, you think, oh, I've had too much potassium, but no, 400 in one go.
Right. Otis could do that though.
Otis could do that though, yeah.
Now that's how I want to go out. 398, 399, so long, suckers. The SmackDown Tag Team Division take turns cutting promos. It sets up Miz versus Jey Uso versus Big E next week, aka the other half of the ladder match they did at WrestleMania. Wow, sounds like there's very similar teams in the WWE SmackDown Tag Team scene. Don't worry, the Forgotten Sons are on SmackDown now.
Oh, God.
Get in.
And they beat the Lucha House Party. Just to set the world right after Lucha House Party looked the best they looked in years, Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Forgotten Sons?
Dunno.
I was like, you know how when they did the draft, it was all about the Fox executives and the USA executives. Imagine USA executives getting their shiny NXT present last Monday, and it's Bianca Belair. She's amazing. And then Fox get theirs, and it's all tattered and crap. It's the Forgotten Sons. Dear.
Yeah, on Raw they got gold, frankincense, and it's like, 3 stacks of myrrh. There you go. If you're struggling to sleep with the memories of Jack's stories kicking in, don't worry, they've got the Sons on SmackDown now.
It was a good story.
Yes, it was. Braun Strowman beat Nakamura in the main event as they did the Rick Rude Warrior thing of, you're the world champion now, but remember when you beat me for the IC title? Didn't work then, didn't work here. But Bray Wyatt interrupted the celebration on the Tron, and he wants a title shot.
No. They haven't learned, have they? Maffew and Jack, they haven't learned. Don't put the Fiend in the Universal title picture. You're just setting them up for another big bloody loss down the line, aren't you? Tarnish.
Do you think he'll win so they get back on track with where they were going to go before Goldberg wanted to be a hero?
Since Goldberg wanted to take $3 million whenever he got paid for that one match. I don't know. He shouldn't be in that match. He shouldn't be in the Universal title picture. Have him go after other people who's wronged him in the past. Just have that carry on for a while because it's fun.
Forgotten Son.
But they do need to have someone like Bray, because right now, who else is there in the main event of SmackDown?
King Corbin.
Cool. Moving on to Raw. We get some women's Money in the Bank qualifiers. Asuka beats Ruby Riott in the match of the night. Shayna Baszler destroys Sarah Logan.
Who cries.
Does such a job of destroying her that the ring announcer gets confused and announces Sarah Logan as the winner.
Yeah.
And then they have to go, no, she didn't win. She's lost quite heavily because she's no longer with the company.
Got released, yeah.
Yeah, and then Nia Jax, yes, she's back, beats Kairi Sane, who is not being released, contrary to some BS wrestling reports. Don't trust anybody unless it's Cultaholic or Sean Ross Sapp, who we get all our news from.
I know that, and the Observer, I know that,
and
basically...
PW Insider.
And PW Insider, Mike Johnson, yeah. I know that, like, Nia's back and you want to have her win to look strong, But don't make this match then, because who would you rather have in the Money in the Bank ladder match? Nia Jax or excellent high flyer with the best elbow drop ever, Kairi Sane?
But Nia Jax can use the Big Show's ladder. And therefore we can promote the number 3 show on Netflix, The Big Show Show.
Oh, not this. I watched the first episode.
Oh my god, I can't believe how bad it is.
I feel sorry for the actors involved because they're fine, but the writers are awful writers, really bad. Have you watched the first episode?
I've watched 1.5 episodes, the first 1.5.
Bloody hell. What's with the bit in the first episode where it's like, it's all serious, it's like, my daughter's coming to live with us, I hope she gets on with everyone all right, and then the little girl, the youngest one's like, I'm going to be late for school, have we got time to play this game or whatever? And then it cuts to Big Show and her, and she's on his shoulders with like a long coat over them, running through the living room. What was that?
Oh, it's just so funny, isn't it? But the smallest daughter's not the issue. The middle daughter's the what a horrible piece of work she is.
Well, she's like the Lisa Simpson.
Oh, she's horrible.
Oh, okay.
With her bedroom that she wouldn't give up, having her sit in protest. What's that about? Just share your bedroom, arsehole. And she steals her hoodie. Unbelievable.
You're invested now. They've got you.
Oh no.
Okay.
You know when you watch like Drake and Josh and programs like that, and it's a bit cringy, but there's something for the adults there as well. This is like, there's nothing there. You know what I mean, Maffew? We all watch Drake and Josh and programs like that. Keenan and Kel, except
Keenan and Kel.
But this is like, you have to watch it with your own eyes to make your own judgment. I can't sum it up.
Again, the only bit of the show I've seen was the cut-out bit on Twitter. It was just like him auditioning for a film. He goes, "Hello, I'm Elton John. Can I keep the air?"
There's a joke in it as well, because Big Show's portrayed as just a massive idiot, right? But he goes to the airport to pick up his daughter, and the guy working at the airport goes, "Oh my god, you're John Cena." And he goes, "No, I'm the Big Show." And that's the joke. That's it. What?
And then guess what he does to the policeman, Maffew? He picks him up and holds him like a little baby. And the policeman says, "I've never felt more safe in all my life." That was another joke on the show.
It's like Waiting for Godot. It's like weird anti-drama, anti-comedy. It's so bizarre. It's so strange.
Wait, expecting that from you. Went from the Big Show to Waiting for Godot.
So what I've done there is I've popped you, right? I've popped the boys, Poppington, more with the reference to Samuel Beckett than with my hilarious drunken antics. Okay.
It was a well-timed Samuel Beckett.
I see.
All in the timing, Jack.
Okay.
That's Big Show.
How the hell did we get speaking about the Big Show?
You said...
The big ladder that Nia Jax...
The ladder, yeah.
Of course, yeah. It all makes sense.
See, I was going to say, it's going to be worth it for the people that don't watch Raw to tune into the network to see Money in the Bank and go, Canel, how long's she been back for? Anyway. Bobby Lashley squashes No Way Jose, despite Lana almost distracting him by accident. Jose is released 2 days later, but sadly Lashley is still with Lana. So I'm not sure who lost that one, really. Drew McIntyre beats Andrade in a champion versus champion match. We'll call back to their NXT title match. McIntyre, very entertaining here, slapping young Austin Theory all the way at the Shadow Realm on the outside. However, Seth Rollins, the self-proclaimed locker room leader, lays him out afterwards to establish himself as the next challenger.
How does that make sense? Loses
Nothing
to Kevin
makes
Owens.
sense now.
And loses to Kevin. I know he's a heel, so you got to, but he loses to Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens is missing, and Rollins is in the title picture.
It's a weird one, I
It
guess.
is a weird one.
But apparently this was the plan even before all the pandemic and everything. Rollins was planned to be the next feud for Drew. So I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Okay,
AEW
Matthew.
Dynamite. Lance Archer defeats Colt Cabana to advance the TNT Championship tournament. And they do a very good job of with the video packages. Colt Cabana going, yeah, I know I'm silly this and silly that, but I'm also a serious wrestler. I've wrestled, and he lost. Various roster members win squash matches. Britt Baker also gets a good promo. Sean Spears, who doesn't. And Sammy Guevara, who beats Sugar Dunkerton, a.k.a. Pineapple Pete.
We last saw him in digital, Maffew, wrestling HT Drake.
That's right, we could barely see him for the crowd that night, but God bless him for putting in the effort. Kip Sabian beats Chuck Taylor with help from Jimmy Havoc. Sing up Jimmy Havoc versus Orange Cassidy. Ooh.
Please
and
give
John
it.
Moxley.
Please wait. Just please be some kind of death match. Stip. I want to see what Orange Cassidy does in a hardcore match.
Well, Havoc's going to have to do all the promos, isn't he? He's going, hello, I'm Jimmy Havoc. And then...
I live in a box.
What's with... Because so now it's official. Now it's like... It's canon in storyline that Kip and Jimmy Havoc are friends and live together, which is true in real life. But how does it work for their characters that, like, pretty boy arsehole Kip Sabian lives with Lord of Darkness and evil being Jimmy Havoc? I don't understand. It's weird.
That's pretty much all the fan fiction I read, to be honest with you. Should read more anime. And John Moxley beats Jake Hager in an empty arena match at Daly's Place to retain the title with Jim Ross commentating. Ross, any thoughts there?
I quite enjoyed it, me. I didn't... Is it normal? Like, in empty arena matches, like, Falls Count Anywhere, is that not a thing normally? I don't know. I didn't bother looking it up. That was a bit of a weird thing for me. Surely just let them do whatever anywhere. That was my only real issue. Jim Ross, no. Apart from his Pearl Harbor reference, no real eyebrow-raising moments on commentary.
Oh, God, yeah. Forgot about that on Raw. Sorry.
Yeah. He's...
What a week.
It was a throwback. A little bit of MMA in there for certain MMA fans. But my main the best bit of Dynamite this week was Taz's techniques little thing. More of that. Fantastic. Some of the words he was using. Aye. Unbelievable tech.
What does he talk about in that tech thing for people who haven't seen it?
Hager's gable lock submission headlock thing.
Oh, so talking about the holds itself then. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and how to apply it and the differences in the technique. And he uses some words I've never heard before, Maffew. It's incredible.
Oh, that's nice. So is it like playing the old SmackDown games? It's like, Jake Hager has a nice Hager lock. Okay, well, hopefully we can all learn something from Taz there. And then NXT happened, and I just skipped through it because I couldn't be arsed and was not up for watching it after the Somme of yesterday. So one thing that happened, there's no notes in front of me, but one thing that did happen was Timothy Thatcher showed up.
Yes. He is Matt Riddle's mystery partner.
That's right. He's a bit on the side when Pete Dunne's not around. And that was it. Any other thoughts on NXT?
Are you not happy about this, Maffew?
I'm very numb at the minute to most things with wrestling. Even AEW Dynamite. Stuff happens and I'm like, alright, cool.
Maffew, what if, right? What if, like, Walter and Balor goes down in Dublin, in United Kingdom, Dublin, and then not my thoughts, the thoughts of NXT UK.
Oh, and right, I see.
Yeah, I don't want to be barred from Scrapomania. I want to go one day to OTT. And what if Thatcher gets involved then, and him and Walter have a bit of a story? Would that not be good for you? Would you not love that, mate?
Right now, WWE are bloodletting the company and trying to cut costs wherever possible. I think I'm going to need to give it a month to see if NXT UK is going to be a thing, given that the mighty World of Sport empire didn't exactly come to fruition.
That is true. Excuse me. That is true.
So, no, I'm miserable.
Killer Cross showed up as well.
Oh, did he?
He batted
got a new
Tommaso
name.
Ciampa. What is it again?
Oh, I know what it means. It begins with a K game, or is it a C?
Oh,
Callion?
it's Carrion Cross. Yeah.
But apparently it means, like, rotting animal flesh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rotting animal flesh cross.
His is spelled with a K because it's what he does. Yeah.
Ah.
So his name is Carrion Killer Cross?
No, Carrion Cross.
Killer.
3K, the KK.
No.
Cultaholic has revealed the new name for Killer Cross.
No, it's not. It's just the two. Oh my god. What was it that?
I think it's catchy, that. So
What was it that Kofi Kingston said?
King of the Ring, he was going to win. He was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I'll be King Kofi Kingston.
Right. Lads and lasses, any other wrestling? That's pretty much all that's happening in the world
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. No, I've got one.
Oh! There's one.
Oh, is it the same one? Maybe it's the same
No,
one.
you go ahead. Sorry, actually.
On Impact, there was a 70-year-old man, and he could just wrestle.
He did old school on all 4 ropes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is Action Jackson.
Action
Right.
Jackson. Mike
Yeah,
Jackson.
because he has
What a
appeared
thriller.
in Game Changer Wrestling when they do their Southern Graps shows. And yeah. He doesn't wrestle like he's 70.
No. And I'm glad he survived that onslaught from New Jack that time as well. Ha ha ha. That
Did he
was
wrestle
Gypsy. No, that was Gypsy Joe.
Oh, right. Sorry, I ruined that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My thing right now is, in Mexico, they've stopped.
Wait.
What?
Did you just say it in Mexico?
Mexico. Like Mexico. But that's how they say it.
Oh.
All right, in Mexico.
No, it's all right.
Sorry, I'll speak English. In that place, there's no wrestling, obvious reasons. So the main story going around, could come at a worse time for him, is Octagon basically saying there's 2 people who say, we're your kids, and you haven't paid child support in decades. And he's going, no. I don't know you.
This is a
But
story?
Octagon's defense has been like holding up documents, like I don't know, like I'll just like law documents and going, this proves that they are not mine, or whatever. But the documents don't even say anything that he's saying. He's just holding up random bits of paper.
Oh, this. I thought
in
you
his
meant
defense.
I thought you meant a storyline. This is real.
Oh no, yeah, this is a real thing. He's like, no,
Oh.
those kids are not mine. He'll hold up a document that's just like this proves, and it doesn't say anything about it.
Wow.
So, Mexican drama is, whatever you want to say it, Mexico drama is way more exciting and interesting than any drama over here right now.
Are these kids Pentagon and Phoenix?
No.
Oh, just because Octagon, Pentagon Jr., son of Pentagon, but it's actually
Oh, yeah, it's not
Octagon.
like every kid they added another one.
No, I wasn't just saying that all Mexicans are related. Jesus. God.
The 16-sided shape kid, whatever.
Oh, dear.
Well, that was very anticlimactic. But that was the week in wrestling.
Let's have a rummage in our mailbags.
And now it's time to have a little look in our mailbag. Question number 1. I'll read lads or lasses, etc. Limp Bizkit had the best WWE live performance of any band at WrestleMania ever. Fight me. Now that I have your attention, being in my isolation station for a good few weeks now and I'm going mad. I found myself rewatching a lot of content from the Ruthless Aggression era WWE. This is when I was first getting into WWE and is close to my heart, and I look back on it fondly. Watching Ross and Sam's tier list on the Ruthless Aggression era got me thinking about my favourite superstars, pay-per-views and matches from that time. Mania 19 featuring Limp Bizkit, Backlash 2004, even though it says Blacklash here for some reason. Umaga being the last great monster heel the E booked, Edge being the greatest diddler that ever diddled, and so on and so forth. With this in mind, being isolated, I guess, what Ruthless Aggression matches or pay-per-views would you turn to just to entertain yourself while sipping on some quarantinis?
Quarantinis.
Thanks so much to Cultaholic and Triple Jump. You got me going and your work during this mental time has provided many laughs. You're a bunch of top bananas. Much love, Jack without the C. So like Jack and Daxter. Oh, well, thank you very much, Jack, for that.
Thanks very
lovely
much.
typed up. You can tell when there's something going on in the Christ in the world where we're getting these lovely typed up questions that aren't just, who's your favourite diddler of all time? So, Ruthless Aggression era, to begin with, do we say Ruthless Aggression, it starts 2002. When does it end?
Early
I don't know.
08, innit?
Is that the official thing?
I think Jericho officially, because me and Sam got a bit of stick by not including Jericho's feud with Michaels when we were summing up those two. I think their feud is the start of the whatever era's next, the PG, officially in the record books. I don't know.
Well, it was during their feud that they said no more cutting or blading, because that weird tidbit of being the last time someone bladed.
Yeah.
Actually, ask CM Punk and Jerry Lawler, but whatever. Okay, so, well, Ross, you've just done this fabulous list, and I've got lots of lovely hits for Cultaholic, so yay. Why don't you take us away?
I would go matches that would stick out to me would be Angle versus Lesnar on SmackDown. That would be the first one that come to mind. It was 9-man match, hour long. You know what's happening there with Lesnar and Angle. What else is there? The other one that sticks out to me is the Survivor Series, Team Bischoff versus Team Austin.
Yes, that's a great shout.
Shawn Michaels in that. Woo!
That might be the best Survivor Series match ever.
Yeah, unbelievable. Cool. There's two for you. Do you want to jump in?
I'd love to jump in.
Go on.
The entire Batista turns on Triple H storyline and payoff. Because after years of him completely ruining and knackering guys like Kane, RVD, Scott Steiner, Booker T, blah, 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 Triple H just went all out and making Batista look like this big star, the slow turns, and, I'll take on anybody in this company. Not you, Dave, though. No, you're good. Failing to break up the pin at New Year's Revolution, him realizing, and the clipboard. Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's so good. Jack.
I've got a pay-per-view in mind. I've got the card here on my phone. So I'm going to say Unforgiven 2006. I'm going to run through in Toronto. I'm going to run through the card.
Oh, we've seen it, Edge.
Yes, Cena Edge is the main event. But the rest of the card I couldn't really remember, so I had a look, because I don't know if it's as good as I remember it being, though. Johnny Nitro defeats Jeff Hardy. That was probably quite good. Kane versus Umaga ended in a double count out. This is my favourite match on the card. The Spirit Squad versus the Highlanders. And I just forgot the Highlanders even existed, so it was nice to see them on the card. The only other match I remember from the show was the 3-on-2 handicap Hell in a Cell match between DX and Shane and Vince and Big Show, where they stuck Vince's head right up Big Show's arse. And Shane McMahon did a terrifying cell where it looked like he was paralyzed. I remember that. Trish versus Lita, Randy versus Carlito, and Cena versus Edge. So that main event's very, very good, though. I remember that one. So Unforgiven 2006.
Also, special notice, Cena versus Umaga at the Rumble 07.
Last Man Standing? Very good.
All of Umaga. Yeah, I'm glad that person brought up. Because I remember it was 1 week Carly came out, and then maybe the same week or the week after, Umaga made his debut on the other brand, and it was just like, is it 1983? What's with all these giant evil, rah, no speak English, eat human for skeleton protein and all this stuff. And then unexpectedly, Carly ended up having some really good run that first year, which you can have a look at if you don't believe me, when he annihilated The Undertaker, and Cena dragged him, kicking swim into some great matches. And then Umaga ended up being 300% better than you'd expect him to be. So lots of good stuff there. If only I had some sort of guide or video to watch to help me through those good bits and some sort of list about who was best. I don't know, maybe you can look on the Cultaholic channel for something like that to help you out. Hey, diddle-Renos. Jesus. Thanks for still providing content in these weird times. MLW uploaded the first MLW vs. AAA Super Series. Oh, I saw that. And one match in particular was the Mance Warner and Savio Vega versus Pagano and Mortiz match. And I watched it for one reason. I was wondering if they still left the chant in the match, which was Fiera? I'm probably not
Fiera,
right.
I think, yeah.
Fiera, right. Which translates to get out.
Outside.
What had happened?
Yeah.
Right. Well, one was a drunk fan kept throwing food at the MLW wrestlers all night. Food. The cops were called and the crowd started to chant. I also chanted, to be honest. So my question to you guys, have you seen a fan attack a wrestler in any shows you've been to? Much love from Mexico, Jorge. Who did he even know that was going to happen? I didn't.
No.
See? I was even wondering, why am I even talking about these Lucha Libre people? No one from Mexico watches this show. Yay, there's one.
Yay.
Yes,
put a pin in the map.
I've never been happier. So I know I've got one, but I'll go to Jack this time. Have you ever seen a wrestler, or a fan rather, attack a wrestler, or be a diddler, or?
Not I can think of off the top of my head. I've seen wrestlers get furious at fans, and I've seen fans spit on wrestlers and wrestlers spit on fans and back and forth. But I don't think I've ever seen actual fisticuffs. But one thing I do remember was when I went to see Kenny McIntosh's Inside the Ropes show with Paul Heyman, when a fan got so angry at the suggestion that Undertaker losing to Lesnar was a shoot at WrestleMania 30. And this, yeah, Heyman was working the room quite a lot. And this fan got so angry and was probably quite drunk at the idea of this that they eventually got kicked out because they kept shouting over Heyman.
What was he shouting?
Something in Glaswegian, Maffew. I don't know.
You're shouting for error.
Yeah.
Go on, Ross.
I've not seen any in person, but one springs to mind. McIntyre, I'm guessing he's Galloway. Someone hits him from behind, I think, from the crowd, and he turns around and goes for them. Yeah,
I'll take over yours then. Yeah, that was mine. I was there for that. That was at the Edinburgh Fringe show. I forget who was wrestling. Maybe Trent Seven. Maybe he was at that show, definitely. I forget. But yeah, started brawling on the outside, right here. Some guy front row started like swatting him like he was a fly. Why
would you hit Drew McIntyre of all people?
The weirdest thing is you see something like that and you see him do it and everyone sees it and there's just like a few seconds where it's like you register what's happening. Like, oh, who's this doing a run? Who is that? Is that from Progress? Is that from? Oh, it's some guy. It's some guy twirling.
It's
and he just really is like silence. No one sees like, oh, what's happening? And then obviously it's it because then Drew turns around. Drew doesn't give him an axe handle smash. He's like, yeah, gets him with that. And so the security have to drag him. And whoa, what? All right. And they left that in. And then Drew got in the ring and says like, you can say what you want about us, but you don't put your bleeding hands on us. That's not exactly how he said it, but yeah, and that was weird. Again, no idea why. But yeah, hell of a thing to see live. I can't remember anything else about the show apart from that. Next question. Hey everybody, thank you so much for staying active and making content so some people do not lose their sanity while in quarantine. I've been subbed to you guys since before Survivor Series 2017, and I've loved all of your content ever since.
That is when we started. That checks out.
Yeah, well done. My question for you guys today is, if a major video game developer came up to you and said they'll make a Cultaholic game any way you want, how would you want them to make it? Would it be like The Sims, and you get to have all the workers and staff interact with each other? Or would you make it like a wrestling game, or something beyond that? Hope to hear this answer from y'all. Take care and wash them hands. Sincerely, Calypsy from Missouri. That's so cool seeing all these people from around the world watching this. A wrestling video game. Sorry,
no, a Cultaholic video game.
A Cultaholic game. How would you make it and why? Well, I'll let Jack go first so Ross can try and think of what a video game is.
I've got an answer, actually.
Well, you're going to have to wait.
I'll go for... I just want, like, Grand Theft Auto, Tyneside. And I just want to be able to drive about, go to my mum's and see what's going on. No.
That'll give you the missions. Make a Jack story.
Right.
Make Jack drive to the campus and then sleep in the wrong bed.
Take this old granny to Pilates class or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Lock Owen out of the flat.
No, Owen locked me out of the flat. But yeah, it was just a weird day. My idea is Grand Theft Auto Tyneside. You choose your character from the Cultaholic lads, obviously, and then various people give you missions and drive about. Think how much the fans would love it who listen to our podcast, who have no idea about like the bits of Newcastle and the surrounding area that we mentioned. They've got no idea what these places are. Now they can go and see what Cramlington is, Great. That's my idea. Grand Theft Auto Tyneside.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Ross, where have you got?
Grand Theft Auto is going to be mine as well.
Oh, no.
But it also incorporates FIFA and old SmackDown games, that kind of engine. Is that the correct terminology, Maffew?
Oh yeah, well done, man.
So
you've been doing your research. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. You pick your Cultaholic character. They have a hobby where they play football. That's where the FIFA is on a Sunday morning. Have a game of FIFA down the park. And then, we're also wrestlers in training because everyone thinks us YouTubers want to be wrestlers, so why not feed into that? Then we go and train to wrestle, and that's why you feed in with your old SmackDown, know your old engine. 3 in 1. The only games I play.
Maffew, before you answer, I really hope that yours is like an RPG or something, but go on.
I was going to go, I'd like to make it like Streets of Rage, where you pick one of us. We've all got our positives and negatives. Ross is positive. He's great at everything. He's got the stats really high. And, my stat is I'm good, but you can only play me 1 day a week. Or whatever like that. But then I thought, nah,
You're
sorry,
DLC, and so is Jen.
I can't be DLC. No one paid for us. Jen will be on the front cover so people buy it. 10 out of 10 creeps recommend this game. I realised it wasn't very interesting. So when the bits on Crash Bandicoot where you're chased by a boulder, we should have a game of that just to simulate the working experience of working for Cultaholic. But instead of a boulder, it's a giant Adam Pacitti.
What?
And he's like, "Where's my video?"
Oh my
and you have to like run away like that. You said Thursday by 7.
Oh god.
You have to run to the end of the level where there's a laptop. You have to send, and he stops chasing after you.
Yeah, it's a good one as well.
That was the answer.
That. Yeah.
That was worth it.
That was a good question. I like that.
That was a hell of a question. Bring out the best of people. And if you have any lovely questions or suggestions, or you're just bored and fancy talking to us about out, please don't hesitate to send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com. And now we move on to Reese's Pieces.
Maffew, just before you start Reese's Pieces, just breaking kayfabe here a little bit. In between segments, Dick Tubbs, the editor, is listening in and will occasionally say something in our ear in our headphones. And it's reminding me of Metal Gear Solid when you're on your codex and
yes,
Otacon talks to you. That's what it sounds like. It's that tone.
That's it.
Ross
he gives you the weak spot for Adam Pacitti, the last boss of Cultaholic. Comes
anyway,
in,
sorry.
Kick him in the dick. Then call him a Tory. He hates that. Reese's Pieces. Hey there, lads and lasses, if Jen is on the show. For the Reese's Pieces, I have made a list out of which of the two people would you rather hire at Cultaholic if they wanted to join. Some of them you have to imagine if they were still alive. Oh, well, thank you for pointing that out, Ben. Appreciate it. So, first time watching Reese's Pieces, we're going to go list these people that this person has listed, and it's the fastest thought first. Do you remember the rules of this, Jack?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I will read this out, and we'll go Ross, Jack, me. So, who would you rather hire at Cultaholic? Cesaro or Chad Gable?
Chad Gable.
Cesaro.
He knows where the good coffee is. Undertaker or Ultimate Warrior?
Undertaker.
Warrior would be a nightmare.
Actually, Warrior would be better for just the crazy videos. Warrior, what do you think about cabbage? Whatever, he'll just say something. Lacey Evans or Lana?
Oh, Lacey.
Lana,
but whatever. Triple H or Tony Khan?
Triple H.
He's got more bants.
Tony Khan. Wait a minute. Who would you hire for Cultaholic? It's Triple H or Tony Khan. All right. Oh, even better. Hulkamania Hogan or Hollywood Hogan.
Hulkamania Hogan.
Yeah, Hulkamania Hogan, just to inspire us all on a Monday morning.
Hollywood Hogan, so I can borrow some of that fake tan. Otis or Orange Cassidy?
Otis.
Orange Cassidy clearly has no work ethic. That's his whole thing.
Oh, that is true. I have read that online. So I pick Otis because I want to be popular with the kids. Lance Archer or Lars Sullivan?
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer.
Oh, it's a tough one. Iron Sheik or Ivan Koloff?
Iron Sheik.
Ivan Koloff. I don't know what he's like really, or what he was like, but Sheik would be too much for me.
Nah, I'd hang out with Sheiky. Keep the memories alive. Cameron Grimes or Cedric Alexander?
Cameron Grimes. Lovely hat.
Cedric Alexander. Lovely face.
Definitely Cedric the Alexander. Walter or Will Ospreay?
Will Ospreay.
Ospreay, because one time I've only spoke to Walter once and he totally blanked me.
I love you bring that up every time.
I'm so annoyed at it. Like, he was so rude. Arsehole.
Will Ospreay, because even though he'd probably half kill me for being put in certain video series that some guy puts on YouTube, I'd still put him in. Just to see him attempt the splits. Razor Ramon or Randy Savage?
Randy Savage.
Randy Savage. No, Razor. No, he would bully me. Randy Savage.
You would also bring drugs into the office.
Yeah,
Wrestlers,
you're right.
Any
Razor.
80s wrestler, any 80s or 90s wrestler would bring drugs into the office, though.
Yeah, but Razor's
right.
gimmick's a coke fiend, isn't it?
No, he had those gold chains. He was a coke dealer.
I see.
Elias or Eli Drake?
Elias.
Nah, Eli Drake. Or at least Elias if he was a baddie. No goodie. Shane McMahon or Stephanie McMahon?
Oh my god. Shane McMahon.
I think it would be funny to be in charge of Stephanie and for her not to be the boss of a situation. So I'm going to go for Steph.
I don't know. Shane McMahon. I'd rather have Vince McMahon's brother who's never been seen on TV or heard from. Teddy DiBiase Sr. or Teddy Long?
Teddy Long.
Teddy Long all day.
Teddy DiBiase Sr. because I know he can make money.
Oh,
Well, I'm with that storyline, by the way. Ligaro. Have I actually said that like how NXT says it? Jesus. El Ligero or Lindsay Dorado?
You did a Simon Miller. There's a throwback.
I actually did.
What was
that
the two
episode
options?
one.
Yeah,
Lindsay.
I think so.
Ligero,
Lindsay
straight-
Ligero.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Wow, that's harsh. We know Ligero, but I will also go for Lindsay. Nothing
Ligero-
against Ligero.
Ligero so it can take the piss out of me for saying his name wrong. Ilya Dragunov or Isaiah Swerve Scott?
Dragunov.
I'm gonna go for Swerve Scott because I've seen him dancing at an after party and he was bloody marvellous.
I'll say Dragunov because I've also seen him dancing and I would have him sit next to Triple Jump. Naomi or Natalia?
Naomi. Poor Natalia.
I'll go for Natalia, go on.
Naomi. Giant Baba or Giant Gonzalez? What is people going to be doing in the office, by the way?
Well, neither of them would fit, I don't think. The ceilings are quite low. Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, he was more of a laugh, wasn't he? Put on that big suit. Well, hey. Yep.
Yeah.
That's Giant Gonzalez is my choice there.
Oh, one of the biggest stars in the history of Japanese wrestling or Giant Gonzalez? Oh, it's got to be Giant Gonzalez. Pac or Pete Dunne?
Pac.
Not the way.
Ah.
Pac, because doesn't have to commute very far, probably.
I don't know, Pete Dunne and just showing him tweets all day might be funny. Oney Lorcan or Owen Hart?
Owen Hart.
Only Lorcan, because I don't want ribs in the workplace. God.
Yeah, we hate ribbon. Daniel Bryan or Drew McIntyre?
Whoa, Daniel Bryan?
Drew, but it's very close.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm going to go with Drew. Just to ask him, hey, remember that time you were at Edinburgh and some guy hit you in the back of the heat? Carlito or Chris Masters?
Carlito.
Masters, in case there was ever a strength-based task that needed doing, like you could bring boxes up all day.
I thought you were going down a different direction. In case you needed something sorting out.
No.
Have you been bootlegging Cultaholic? Angel Garza or Andrade?
Angel.
I was going to say Andrade because I'd be intimidated by having a man as good looking as Angel Garza in the office, but then I realised that Andrade is also very good looking, so I'll go for Angel Garza because he seems to be a bit more fun.
So yeah, the way it worded that says, I'd be intimidated by having something so attractive in the office, but then I remembered Owen's there. So,
Yeah, Owens, lovely looking little man.
Angel Garza, because he takes off his clothes. Steve Austin or Sting?
Sting.
Steve Austin. It's absolutely clear to me that Sting is not as funny as Steve Austin.
Steve, name drop Botchamania consistently, Austin. Tyler Bate or Trent Seven?
Trent Seven.
Trent Seven all day.
Trent. Stories for weeks. If you read the first letter of each of the choices, it reads something interesting. Oh, all right. Okay, is this the point of this? Sorry, give me a second. See if I can read this out properly. On my thing. Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Oh,
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
I did wonder at some of those choices, like, where's that come from?
Giant
That's the name of the show. That's where we live. We live in Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Shut up. Thank you for keeping me entertained during the end of high school to my working life and keeping the entertainment going when everything else has come to a standstill. Well, you certainly took the entertainment to a standstill there, pal. You guys have inspired me to try wrestling, so thank you. Also, all the best to the Roonies. Ben from Glasgow.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, Benjamin.
And if you have any Reese's Pieces to send to us, please, please, please make sure they take about 15 minutes to read out and send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
Big question.
Wow. What a great podcast.
That one was delivered really like a smooth FM.
Yeah,
like,
that was
wow.
going, thank you. Like, Cadbury's.
Yeah.
Lake. Podcast. Which released WWE superstar will do best? Is the big question this week. Obviously to coincide with the bloodletting that's just occurred. So this is only what we've got so far. And obviously we wish them nothing but the best. We're not horrible bastards. But one of them we're going to pick we think will succeed best. I know who my one is. But I will defer to Jack to warm us up. Jack, who have you got?
Well, I'm worried that my pick is the same as either one or both of your picks. Because I'm going to say Rusev because he's one of the biggest missed opportunities in WWE in recent years. And like Ross suggested earlier on the podcast, I can just see him in New Japan. But he could succeed pretty much anywhere he goes because he's got that mixture of ability and charisma. And I think that if he goes somewhere that gives him more creative freedom, he'll be excellent. Have I nicked anyone's choice there?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Maffew?
I'm going to go with EC3, and I've realised that the entire time you haven't been able to see my stunning shirt purchased from the man. Can't even see, can you? Bloody hell. Just take my word for it.
C3.
Here we go. Up Periscope. And nothing but the best here, Cultaholic. I bought this from when he was at Defiant. I've always been a fan of the man and his ability to deliver promos, sell himself, be cool online. Basically, the total package of what you expect to be in the year of our Lord 2020. You know, keeps himself normal on social media, has a positive outlook on things. Was already doing promos and his little video stuff on Twitter the day of the release. And so I wish him nothing but the best. And I think he'll succeed wherever he goes or what he does. He doesn't look like the type of guy who could just stick with wrestling. He could do a personality, he could do YouTubing, he could do lots of things. So I'm saying him.
Fair
Big
play.
old EC3.
Ross, do you have a choice other than the one that I've stolen from you?
I'll go Drake Maverick. Yeah, he's just very versatile. Just like Rusev is, that's the word I'm looking for. Versatile. Can do all facets of the wrestling. Can Drake Maverick and Rusev.
Do you think him and EC3 will stick together?
They've got that podcast thing, haven't they, with Braun Strowman? What's it called? Magic City or something? So they're all good pals, so maybe. I mean, that was weird as well. That's another missed opportunity by WWE. They put them together for one dark match, didn't they? Then somebody thought, no, that's not for us.
Fun fact, I was going to be doing something with them for their WrestleMania show. So,
Oh, what?
Was that the Magic City one?
yeah.
Were you?
What were you going to do, Maffew?
Well, now, but it was all like, hey, if you get there, as soon as it was like, oh, if you'll be here in the area, then we'll hook up and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, breaking news.
Yeah.
Entire world shut down for a bit. Oh, okay. Never mind, Maffew.
Oh, your other friend was on AEW this week. Ron. Big Ron. Funches.
Oh, big. Yeah, that's what I call him. Hey, Big Ron. Yes, he was.
Ron Harris was on
Big
on
to his
AEW.
close friends. Yes, he was there. They did
Some
a good job.
friend he is, Maffew.
Come on, he's never let me call me Big Ron. Oh.
After what we saw in Vegas, some friend he is.
Did you get to talk to Ron Funches, Ross?
No.
Oh.
I'd love to, though. He's got a lovely voice. Very soothing.
Yeah.
I'm calling him Big
I
Ron.
love his best thing he says is, hey, you should take this edible.
Also, he's I'm calling him Big Ron, but hasn't he famously lost a lot of weight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's medium Ron now.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he loves it when you call him Big Ron. Apart from the other people there, Aiden English, I hope, does other things there because as the wrestler who can also sing and do theatre and everything else like that, it seems almost weird that he was almost stuck doing commentary when I can't wait for him to do some sort of, not Patreon, but like, not Fiverr, but a website like that where you can just like pay him to do stuff and we get him going, this week's big question, whatever. Diddlers.
Oh, that needs to happen now.
Yeah.
He must have Cameo.
Cameo, that's one. Yeah. That website.
That one.
Anybody else you think will succeed?
All of them have got a chance to. They're all good.
Ryder, yeah.
Ryder, yeah. I think maybe Ryder because did you see Cody's Instagram post?
No.
Full of admiration for the guy he is, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I know that they're friends and everything, but this post was really well written and makes me think that Ryder might not be done yet, boys. I don't know why I'm talking
He's only
about that.
34, which I found shocking.
Is he?
Aiden English is young as well.
I think he's 32 or something, Aiden English.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Also point out, Anderson and Gallows, if you only know them from the WWE run, don't worry. They are really entertaining, be it High Spots or the podcast or all the other stuff they've done. There's so many opportunities they have. They could do anything they like, so they can move on from this whole botch club thing. There's so many things they could be doing. So many other
Imagine
things they
if
could be
brought
doing.
back.
Just
That was our biggest frustration with WWE, the fact they wouldn't let us do that show more often.
that was it. That was the one sticking point. I'll have to quit then, I guess. But good on them for the last thing they did on TV was like try and kill the Undertaker.
Yeah.
So
And got killed by him, it
He
seems.
got killed, yeah.
yeah, let's go away writing somebody off. Where are they? Didn't you see Undertaker killed them?
Yeah. Did he threw one of them off the roof? Was it Anderson? What happened to Gallows?
Yeah. Gallows got chokeslammed. Tombstoned.
Did he?
Matter.
Though I would like to see what Eric Rowan does if he does the show up at the next indie show that's available or whatever. It's like, "Arr!" And don't forget kids, and he's just got like the crappiest, cheapest spider. Arr!
wasn't he in New Japan like yonks ago? Like,
He was in one
proper
of the
yonks ago.
Japans, yes.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen that video somewhere.
Yeah. Near Beard. It was very odd. But I think we've come to the conclusion of this podcast, and we can't wait to get all of these people on some sort of podcast. And I'm sure no one's DMing them for those right now. Bless them. But regardless of that, one podcast that will be on next week for definite is this one, the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. One of the many things you have to watch whilst you've got some time to yourselves, not just on related to podcast, but also, Jack, what's coming up this week for you and this lovely
This
brand?
week, got Wrestlers of the Week, which will be up. Well, it'll be up now at the time that this video will be released. And just all the usual stuff, really. News in the morning, graded. I do it for Dynamite, but other people do it for other things. Ross has got WTF. Ross, have you got anything in specific you want to plug?
I've got a tiered list with my darling husband, Sam, about finishes, WWE ones. It's a right hoot. It was pre-recorded, by the way. I should note that. Me and Sam are sat next to each other. It was pre-recorded the Friday before the Tuesday we left the office. Just to get
Fair
that.
enough.
Oh, well, if I could sum up 2 words to describe the Ross and Sam wedding, I would definitely use those. Ruthless aggression.
What a day that was.
And on that note, we've kept you long enough. I hope wherever you are, you're staying safe and keeping well and keeping sane. Until we meet in real life for one giant mashup of a party and orgy, put your fist towards a webcam and say, join us.
Join a Rooney.